Hi guys, welcome back to Past ELA. Tonight's topic is reducing test anxiety. This video is great for ELA. It is really great for many topics. Of course, it's going to be a couple of ideas that are specifically for ELA. However, test anxiety is something that you can get in any class with any test, and so I'm sure some of these tips will be useful in those other areas as well. Let's get started. Number one is called the brain dump. So, this is something I have actually done in my life for years, and it involves journaling about the things that make you anxious. And when you journal about the things that make you anxious, they're less likely to make you anxious. Once you see it all written on a piece of paper, your anxious thoughts become much less dominant. They become a lot smaller, a lot less serious when you see them and when you get them all out there. So, you could either do this the morning of your exam, right before you're going to take it. You could do it at home on the day of the exam, etc. Or if you chose to, you could even do it in a little space in your test booklet, depending on what tests you are taking. There's usually some areas of scrap paper or blank space that will not be graded. So this is a place you could do that if you're feeling anxious. Some prompts to get you started include, I am nervous because, I feel blank because, I am worried about, and I can't wait for. Thinking about what's going to come after the test. That might help you as well. Once you get started thinking about what is making you nervous, how are you feeling, you're more likely to calm down and feel ready to take that test. Next, cheat sheet. Now, this might sound like I'm promoting cheating, but I am not. This is making your own cheat sheet the minute you get the test. So say you're studying, but then of course you need to put all your study materials away when the test comes. Something to help you feel more confident is to, when you have a blank space, just like the one I just mentioned, maybe a piece of scrap paper, maybe there's an area on your test that isn't going to be graded, you could write down everything about the topic that you're testing on that you know. Not only is it going to be right there, so you don't have to remember it at moments during the test, but it will also make you feel more confident if you see it all written out on the page. So for ELA, some examples might be, point of view is, mood is, tone is, etc. Little things that you jot down to give you that confidence. Yes, I do know what these things are, and if I forget in the moment, I could flip back to my own little homemade cheat sheet that I made. Again, not promoting real cheating. Next, reading the questions first. So for multiple choice, when you get to each passage, if you read the multiple choice questions first, and you could even jot down a little phrase, whatever you're going to focus on the front, like on your passage. Then as you're reading your passage, you see central idea jotted down. Oh, I have to remember the central idea. You see Kathleen's character change. Now, when I'm reading, I need to look for Kathleen's character change. Those are just little tips to help you make better use of your time during testing. You could also read the 2 short response questions before you read each passage. This is the ELA state test. Each passage has 2 short responses. If you read the questions first, that'll prepare you for what to look for as you are reading the passage. And then, of course, I do recommend reading the extended response question before you read the passages because that will get your brain working, and your brain will, like, say you read the question, and you're like, oh my God, what is that saying? Your brain operates at a subconscious level. So say you read the question, you're confused by it. You go on, you do your work, you read your other passages. When you get to the question a second time, your brain has already been working on it that whole time. You're more likely to get a better answer if you've given your mind time for it to sink in and think about it. So I definitely recommend doing this. Number 4, affirmations. Affirmations means giving positive reinforcement. So when anxious thoughts start to creep in, tell yourself something positive. Some examples are, I am prepared for this. I have improved a lot this year. I can be proud of myself for trying my best no matter what. And I have the tools I need to do well on this test. More than likely, this is true for you. So you should be able to tell yourself these things. And last but not least, we have brain breaks. Of course, there are only certain brain breaks you can do during an important test, but if you are aware and comfortable with some really quiet brain breaks that you can do, this is a great way for you to revive yourself, refresh yourself if you are starting to feel exhausted during your test. So first of all is doodling. Although some teachers might be very anti-doodling in class, and your proctor or your teacher may tell you to stop and get back to work, it is a very valid way of taking a break from what you were doing. So you could doodle little pictures in your margins as if you were annotating, and that is a nice way to give your brain a break. Next, we have the infinity symbol. So in order to use this as a brain break, you should draw the infinity symbol in a small place, like I mentioned, like in your margins, and just continue drawing it over and over and over without lifting your pencil from the paper. You should focus on that center point and try to breathe deeply while you're doing it. This should give you a nice zen feeling, gives you a nice break from what you are focusing on, and just gives you, if you're not a doodler, something to calm yourself doing. Next, we have 4-4-4 breathing. This is where you breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, and breathe out for 4 counts. So you're counting to 4 3 times in your mind. I do this almost on a daily basis, and I usually do it about 10 times in a row. Get some really deep breathing in, get some oxygen to my head. So remember, in, count to 4, hold, count to 4, and out, count to 4. Lastly, or not lastly, brain tapping. This is something to do if you are really starting to feel fatigued, if you want to just revive yourself. So you can lightly tap around your sinuses, like around your eyebrows, around your temples, around your jaw, and you just kind of leave all your fingers like kind of loose like that. You're not really poking, it's more the motion is coming from your wrist. And it just relieves tension and gives you a fresh feeling when you do it for about a minute as a break. And then lastly, good old-fashioned stretching. Now, depending on the seriousness of your test, you may not be able to get up and stretch, but say you're taking a test like the ELA exam with a lot of writing, take your time and stretch each finger. Count to 10 on each finger. If you focus on this, not only is it going to loosen up your hands and get you ready to get back to work, but it is a nice way to relieve some tension, reduce some anxiety, and give you something besides the test to focus on for a couple minutes. So I know that was a lot of different ones, but hopefully there was something that jumped out to you and that you could grab onto for these big tests that we're taking almost every year. So if you implement these, they are sure to increase your positivity, sure to increase your confidence for your test, and reduce your anxiety. Thanks for watching Past Middle School ELA, and happy studying.